Hey guys, so I just wanted to share a little bit about my process. As you know, a lot of you guys know about my healing journey of preparing for marriage and how the Lord has told me that my husband's coming and kind of what the dating process has been, right? Like going on dates. And so I realized like part of the reason that God has had me go on dates and meet men and converse and things like that, the reason is so that I'm able to learn how to communicate effectively with males and convey how I feel, because when I visit my dad in Taiwan, like a lot of times I feel like I can't communicate with him. A lot of times I feel like he's talking at me. So even today, I had an Uber driver that was around my dad's age, and he was Chinese as well. And when I told him that I'm single and I've been dating and things like that, to him, he basically pulled out ideas and solutions to fix the problem. Like, okay, maybe you're still single because of this and that. And I'm like, no, actually, it's not true. Like, I'm not asking you to fix my problems. I'm just telling you how I feel. Again, the whole male thing of mansplaining and trying to find a solution for someone. And in the past, like, I would just sit there and pretend to be okay with what a guy is saying to me and not speak up for myself. And I felt mute. I felt like I didn't have a voice because I was trying to be polite, because that's what you're taught in Asian culture. Be polite and just listen. And so it's a very negative reinforcement of, yeah, silence yourself and pretend that you don't have a voice. So one of the things that I've learned is that by conveying how I feel to people, especially men, it's helped me to see that, like, that I can be heard, that my voice does matter, that like guys will take me seriously. And it's been a real fight, because in our society, like, there are respectful men and there are disrespectful men. Of course, there are disrespectful women and, respectful women. So disrespectful people, they don't want to listen to what you have to say. They think it's, their job to fix you. They don't validate your emotions. They gaslight you. So in my experience, what I've learned is that by conversing and communicating with different men, it has helped me to understand that, like, there are things that as I heal and gain that type of love in communication, I am experiencing the type of love that I did not get from my dad growing up. The security of, hey, I can have a conversation with someone and they're not going to shut me down. They're not going to gaslight me. They're not going to dismiss how I feel, which is often how I felt with my dad, right? So by communicating effectively and not giving up on communication, especially speaking up for myself and saying what's on my mind and saying something that may disappoint, cross, or upset a man, it's helped me to overcome the fear of rejection. It's helped me to overcome the fears of being judged and the fears of their reaction. Because, of course, I have turned down guys. I've experienced, even when I told them the truth, that, like, I remember one time I was in a car with a guy and I told him, like, I don't see a future with you. And he said, I'm not taking you home. I got out of the car. It was like 1 a.m. in downtown. And I had to call Uber home. But the thing is, God had another arrangement for me where, like, again, another male where I could express how I felt, right? The driver was a Christian as well, and I was able to talk. And it's just incredible how when you are a very vocal person, that not everyone's going to hear you out, not everyone's going to understand you. But today, I had a driver who was around my dad's age, And he was trying to mansplain me again, right? And I was like, look, I'm not looking, in Chinese, I'm like, I'm not looking for you to fix my problems. I'm just venting. And actually, and the thing is, I had like 2 Asian guys today just say like, well, you need to do this, and that's what you gotta do, and that's how you, like, because like, so why aren't you married then yet, because you're doing something wrong. And I'm like, actually, no, in God's timing. And I was like, I'm a Christian, and I have faith that God's timing is perfect, that there's nothing wrong with me. And I don't appreciate you saying that, oh, I need to fix something or I need to do this, because God is working in my life exactly how he wants me to live. I am living in freedom. I'm living in the path that God has given me. And like, it's right for me because I'm following my heart. So a lot of times I've experienced, especially in Asian culture, like the elders, they think they know what you have to do to live a better life. I'm sorry, you don't know. And you don't get to mansplain me. You don't get to tell me how to live my life, because, again, I've lived my whole life without my dad, without his guidance or instruction. And guess what? I'm here today, like, with the guidance of God. So when someone's like, well, you never know what will happen when you get married. You never know. And they're very doubtful and all this stuff. Well, God has told me, right? My husband's coming. God has told me that he has promises for me that will be fulfilled. God has told me that. So a lot of times people are doubtful, and I get that, but my faith is strong. So I don't go by human standards. I don't go by experience of humans. I go by my faith, right? And so you want to be doubtful towards your promises, that's on you, but I have firm faith because I followed him this far. And so one of the things I've learned is through dating and speaking up for myself is that how do I like, what I've learned is that by feeling loved through communication, that at the end of this journey, when I do meet my husband, that I won't put all of this expectation for him to fill a father role, right? Because he's not my father. He's my husband. He's my partner, right? So there are things that I'm healing from. For example, not really having my father growing up. It's like this fear of attachment that's like freaks me out, right? The fear of abandonment. The fear of getting close emotionally to a guy in general, right? The fear of them walking away and saying, no, I don't want to be your friend. The fear of the end of communication. So all of these things I've overcome and I've faced, and it was tough, like incredibly tough, heartbreaking. That's why, like, I've literally cried, like, I cry like once a day. Like, I cry so much because of all of these repressed emotions that came from not having my dad, and then experiencing safety and even like acceptance, right? Through going on dates and like being able to communicate and experience what it means for a guy to be loving. What does it mean for a man to love you? What does it mean for them to be that they may get triggered but they won't lash out at you, right? Like different things that I've learned has been very healing, and it's helped me to see that like a guy will not just walk away once things get tough. They won't just leave you hanging. They won't just abandon you. That they're willing to talk things out. That literally has been probably the biggest lesson and the biggest thing that I've learned is like, yeah, like a guy will stick around. A guy will be there for you, and they won't give up on communication. They won't leave you hanging. And there were examples that I've experienced of guys that did leave and did, I felt like abandoned me, or, you know, were irresponsible. But I realized that the majority of people I've met have been responsible, have been dependable. So I would say 50-50, that when you meet people, men who are responsible, dependable, and communicative, it is healing to a girl's heart, to a girl that didn't grow up with her dad, and their dad was irresponsible or deadbeat or absent or abusive even. And so I want to encourage you ladies out there that, if you did not grow up with your father, like, first of all, as someone who's waiting till marriage to have sex, I'm so glad I waited. I don't wait necessarily for religious reasons. It has helped me to understand how a male is supposed to treat me, right? To respect me, not because they want something from me, but because they honor my heart, and they honor my personhood. They honor who I am before all of that physicality. That they are able to communicate, that they are able to convey their heart for me without trying to get something from me, without trying to have sex with me. And so, like, I think because especially that I did not grow with my dad, it would have been devastating to have sex and then have someone leave, right? And so a lot of you guys ask me about it because I want to wait till marriage. I want a commitment, before I give that part of myself to someone. I want this deep emotional connection, spiritual connection before I go to that level with a person. And so, if anything, it's more out of self-protection, and it's more out of, like, wanting that communication, that deep communication that says, hey, we're not gonna give up when things are tough, right? And because I have experienced a lot of emotional immaturity in guys where, hey, this is tough, like, I'm offended, I'm gonna stop talking to you. And that to me is emotional immaturity, that you're not able to convey how you feel, and you want to just give up when a conversation is tough. I will tell you this. I went on a date with some guy that literally, like, he was praying to God in front of me instead of talking to me. And he goes, go home and pray to God and see if there's peace in your heart. It's like, bro, I'm right in front of you. Like, why don't you just tell me how you feel? And instead, he was silent. And God was like, just tell him how you feel, even though he's silent. We're sitting in the car, and I just continue to say what's on my mind. Hey, I feel offended that you did this, and this is how I feel, and blah, blah, blah. And I just kept talking. I just kept letting it out. And it's just like, in the past, my parents were very, like, silent treatment kind of people. So it would punish me it was a form of punishment to basically sit there and go, okay, I'm not going to say what's on my mind because they're silent, so I should be silent. No, I learned to speak up and say what's on my mind as well. And, yeah, like, anyways, so that's it. God bless. Bye.